Hi there, I'm Texas Tim. Thanks for tuning in to my ongoing quest to grind through all the algorithm problems on LeetCode. I have completed all the easy ones, and now I'm working on the medium ones, although sometimes LeetCode adds some new easy ones, and so I go back and pick those off. So why don't we see what LeetCode has for us today? Could be an easy one that popped up, but it could be a medium. So let's see what we got. Here we are, got my profile page, and let's see, problems. And I'm doing algorithms. Let's check easy. Status to do. Yes, there is one. They must have added it recently. Let's check it out. All right, 1933. Check if string is decomposable into value equals substrings. Okay. I don't know if I know that word. A value equals string is a string. Oh, where all the characters are the same. For example, those are value equals strings and that one's not. Okay, so given a digit string S, decompose the string into some number of consecutive value equals substrings. Oh my goodness, where exactly one substring has a length of 2. There are a lot of conditions here, where one substring has a length of 2 and the remaining substrings have a length of 3. Return true if you can do it, otherwise false. My goodness. All right, so that is very interesting. Let's look at their examples. So here we have 0, 0, 0, and then 1, 1, 1, and then 0, 0, 0. So we would need one that has a length of 2, and then all the other ones have a length of 3, and we can't do that here. Because if we do any of these as a length of 2, there'd be one left over, because it does have to be consecutive. Let's look at the second example. So we have 3 in a row, 3 in a row, and then 2 in a row, and then 3 in a row. Okay. Interesting. I'm starting to think about how I could do this. I think we'll traverse, this is the first stab. I haven't even finished going through the problem description or the constraints, but I'm thinking we'll traverse the input string and take it each section at a time, a section being all the same consecutive values or characters. And then, so if there's like 5 ones in a row, then I can think, oh, that could be a 2 ones and a 3 ones. And then I got to just notate that I've used up my 2. And I think we can, I think this is going to be fairly easy, because if there's, say, 5 characters in a row that are the same, I know that has to decompose into a 2 and a 3 substring, and then I've used up the 2. If it's 6, then it would have to be 2 length of 3 substrings. So based on the length of the substring that's all the same character, I think it'll be pretty straightforward to figure out how it fits into these constraints of, one with the length of 2 and the rest with a length of 3. All right, let's see what else we got. So here we have a 0, and it's 1, and that doesn't fit at all. So that's an immediate false. So we can also probably do some early return. As soon as we hit a substring that's of length 1 of the same character, we can return false right away. And constraints could be up to 1,000, and it'll be 0 through 9. This long length makes me think we want to go through this once. We want to be processing the string as we go. We don't want to have to, traverse the whole string and collect some kind of data or statistics about it and then go back over it a second time. We don't want to do that. So we'll want to go through it one pass. That seems kind of reasonable. Let's get in there. Let's see what we can do. All right. I think we can do this. I think we could use that for our, what is it, an enhanced for loop, as they say. Okay. And what are some of the stats we're going to want to collect? So let's see. Length of current substring equals 0. Let's say cur_char. And we're going to initialize, if I can spell that right, initialize to a non-digit is what we're looking for there. That way we can check if within the loop we can see if that current character matches the previous. So length of current substring, and then I want to track with a Boolean of let's see, has length 2 been used, and it'll initialize to false. I think that's what I'll need. As we get into it, I reserve the right to add more variables. Okay, so if C is not equal to the cur_char, we have new char. Okay. Else, well, if it's if C is not the cur_char, then it must be a new char. Wait, we have. Hold on. How do I want to set this up? If C, let's start with the equal. If C equals the cur_char, we have another char. Let's say substring continues. There you go. That's kind of the meaning I wanna put across. We have a new char, and then we'll have to catch something. We'll have to have a little step at the end to handle the last, to wrap up the stats and stuff for the last character. Because if the last character is like a substring of length 1, then we'll have to check for that outside the loop, because the loop checks for whether the previous character is the same when it goes on to the next character. But if it's the last character of the loop, then there won't be a next, so we have to catch it on the exit. So I'm going to put a little reminder. Analyze last char. I'm going to put don't forget to. Okay, there we go. So if the substring continues, then we can increment this little variable. And I think that's about all we do. We're just counting up how many of that character there are in a row. If we have a new character, process previous character. Now this is fun because we're making the previous character, for the first character in the loop, for the very first looping, the cur-char will be, maybe cur-char is, I don't think that's the right variable name. Let's say previous char, that's better. There we go. So we'll always have a new char on the first time through. And how are we going to do this? So if the number, if the quantity of the previous character we had, it's going to be either a multiple of 3, or it could be 2 plus a multiple of 3. And if it's not either of those, then we can return false right away. I think that's about how it goes. So if length of current substring, let's get rid of current, previous is tricky. Naming things. Oh, why did it do that? Okay. All right, so if the length of the substring is a multiple of 3, then we're all good. Nope, no problem. Do nothing. Else, if let's check for the condition of length of substring minus 2. I gotta add my other parenthesis. If it's 2 plus a multiple of 3, then we're gonna turn on, has the length 2 been used? It's gonna be true. Actually, here's what we gotta check. Gotta check if we've already done that. So if, and then we get an early return here. So if we get a case where it'll be multiple of 3 plus 2, but if we've already used our length 2, then we can return false because now we've got 2 length 2s. Otherwise, if that's not the case, then we can indicate we have now used our 2, and yes. If it's a 2 plus a multiple of 3, then we check to see if we've already gotten our 2. We handle that, and now finally we have to, if it's not one of, if the count of the previous substring is not one of those 2 cases, then it could be like 1 or 4. It could be something that's not one of those cases. Then we can return false. Not multiple of 3 and not 2 plus multiple of 3. All right. 2 plus. Part of the reason I document is to help myself not to forget what's going on here. Let's put multiple of 3 there. Okay. Multiple of 3, 2 plus multiple of 3. And here now I can say neither of those Actually, what I like to sometimes do is to actually put like case 1, case 2, neither of those cases. I think that seems all right. We have a new character. We've handled we've processed the data for the previous substring. Now we've got to set things up to start counting the upcoming substring. So let's update the previous char is going to be the current one we're currently on, and the length is going to be 1, because we just have 1. I'm just making sure that on the very first loop of our for loop, I want to make sure we don't stumble because I've set previous char to A. So it's gonna be a new char, and the length of substring is 0, and 0 mod 3 is 0, so that will work. That will be fine. Okay, that'll work. So intricate. And now, as we come out of the loop, we basically have to kind of do this again. That's annoying. Is there another way to do it? I am inclined for the moment to just copy that. There probably is a cool way that I could, like maybe a do while or something. We just have to put the condition checking in the right place. Let's try this. I think this will work. 2 plus 2, that works. And actually, we could even just return true there. And look, so if the last substring is a mod 3 equals 0, then we can return true there. And neither of those, actually, that's case 3. Neither of the first 2 cases. I think this will work. Man, there's a lot of ifs in there. Let's run it. I think it'll work. Dang it. Output true, but it wanted false because there's no... Oh, we need to have one substring of length 2. There has to be one. So we're going to... So what we can do is return this variable. So if it has been used, meaning it's been used once, then we just return it. And there, we know we can just return false. Actually here, so I don't need to, so with this first one, I can return that. I can just return this flag variable. And then here, if we have a 2 plus multiple of 3, we've already used the 2, return false. Otherwise, we know we can return true. And then if it's neither of those, like it could be, if it's a length 1 or length 4, return false. Okay, I think this should work. Yes! It worked. Let's submit it. Let's see where we're at. performance. Whoa! But you know, I'm not going to get too excited because I think this is a very new problem. I think they just released it. Like, it might even say there's not enough data. Let's see. Not enough. Yeah, see, not enough submissions. So it's fast, but you know, there could be just not, it doesn't necessarily say anything. Let's take a little look and see if there's any obvious ways to improve this. So length of substring. There is overhead with conditionals like if and else. So a small optimization is to move the most likely or most common case up top so that you catch it first and move on, and you don't bungle through a bunch of uncommon cases that you tack on to every check. So for example, if we thought there were going to be not so many strings, like not so many valid strings, if we thought there were going to be a lot of invalid strings, then maybe we could check if it's not the previous character first. But that's probably fine. It's probably fine. All right, if we have a new character, we check for the mod 3. Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of opportunity for improvement. Part of me wants to try to rejigger this loop, probably not using a for loop, but maybe just like a while or a do while, so that we can check this stuff one time. But then I worry about this video being super long and me just kind of stumbling around. Tell you what, if you found this interesting and it's enough for you, go ahead and hit stop, head on out. That's fine. But if you want to stay on and see if I can rejigger this loop so that we can have, so that this testing of the length of the substring, if we can have that appear in one block, then stick around, because I'm going to do it right now. Okay. So if we go away from the for loop, I'm going to need a little sip there to get going. Then we are going to have an index variable, which will be start at 0. And then I'm going to put while true just to kind of I think I can. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So I'm going to have this while true while I figure out how to break it. Or maybe, depending on how I set things up, I could just return from within the loop. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I need to populate C equals S caret index. And as long as I'm not going to touch index again, I guess I could increment it. Maybe the while condition could involve the index. Or I could check something at the end of the loop about the index. So what I could do, and all this really comes down to how we handle that last character. Well, right after the last character. So when index equals length minus 1 of S. What if we had a Boolean like good so far, like a little signal variable called good so far that we could set as needed. And then at the end of every while loop, we check the value of index. See. We could also, the problem is when index gets incremented to the length of s, then this will do an error because the string s doesn't have an index location equal to its length, because it would be length minus 1 would be the last character. So what if, and here I'm adding an if block that would get checked every time. So I feel like this would slow down the overall algorithm because it's an additional check in every loop. And so it's costing us a little bit of compute time. And what we are gaining is we only have this block one time. It's a sort of, where do you want to save? Do you want a shorter algorithm with less code? There's value to that, because then if you decide to modify the conditional checks, then you don't have to have the risk of updating it in the conditional checks within the loop, but then forgetting to do it in the copy of those checks that takes place after the loop. So I'm going to say, on the whole, for maintainability, there's value in not having basically a copy. So let's proceed. If I thought there was no value, I'd say, why are we even doing this? Why am I trying to write a loop, to save lines? But I think there is value, because then you don't have two virtually identical blocks of code. So if index equals, meaning we've run off past the end, then instead of setting C to any character within the string, let's make C again a non-digit. Let's say set to a non-digit when the entire string has been traversed. And then it will always count. It will trigger if we have a new character. So it's gonna do these things. Start counting the new character, and then I guess down here we'll have a check if index is the length. Actually, look at this. We'll want to move that. Yes, we'll want to move that. So I could have if index is equal to the length of s, and then otherwise then assign it here. And then I don't know if LeetCode will allow me to not initialize it. Why don't we find out? We'll see. I feel like I'm always learning what the LeetCode judge, you know, the JVM that they've got, what it will allow. And I guess I know what it is. It's Java SE13, so I guess it's not the judge. If it's not specific to LeetCode, then I probably should know. I think it'll raise an error. I think it will. Let's find out. Let's just find out real quick. Let me comment all this out. See if it'll let me run it. If I get a time limit exceeded, that means that it worked. Okay, so it will let you not initialize it. So I'll say will initialize in if block below. Oh, I must have hit the developer key. Okay, so if index is s length, then if well, here we would just return, here's where I can just return the value of our Boolean of whether we've gotten the 2, the length 2 done. So I think this will work. So we have our conditional block one time right in here, which is good for maintainability. And the cost is that we have some checks in every loop. Let's see if it runs. I hope it works. Yes! Okay, it worked for this one. Let's submit it and see if it works. Wrong. Oh no. Oh. Why did it not work? I told it false. It wanted true. How many 6s do we have here? Let's see how many 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that should be okay. That's a multiple of 3, and that's a multiple of 3, and then it ends with a multiple of 2. So maybe we've failed to correctly account for the final substring. Why don't we add a breakpoint and see what's going on? Let me get my debugger. Okay, I've added a breakpoint here. Let's debug. Let's see what's going on in there. And what's the length of that guy? So we have 12 plus 3 is 15, so 17. So index, and I'm mainly interested, my goodness, this is going to take a long time. C is 6. Index 2. Oh, C is the current character, yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm just stepping over like a maniac. Where it's going to get interesting is up in 15. Index of 15. Is there a... no, I don't want to do... Yeah, I do want to try to find... Okay, we're getting there. Scintillating watching, isn't it? Okay, we're getting close. We're going to see previous character change in a second. So here's index 12. Now for index 13, C is now 7. Previous care is 6. Now we've updated previous care. You say in the comments, let me know if you say care or char or something else. I say care because it's short for like character, right? But I think I've heard other people say char. If you do one or the other, I would be curious. Let me know down in the comments. Index 15, it's about to get really interesting. Here we go, C2. And we're about to update length of substring. There it goes. Index 16. What I'm waiting to see is when has length 2 been used gets updated, and it was not. So what I can do is okay, let's stop. If index is so what I need to check is if the length of substring for the current one, the last one in the list, if that is 2, and we're going to have like an OR here. So if has 2 has been used, okay, let's see. So if index is s length tells us that we've run off the end of the string. We've passed the last substring. It feels like we're doing another conditional block, which was the whole point of trying to avoid it. Okay, so if we haven't done the has length, the length 2, and we have a 2, then return true. Else, if we have found the length 2 and length of a substring mod 3 equals 0, then return true. And actually this would be we need to test if it's -2 mod 3. That's what we really equals 0. That's what we really need to test for. Then return true. So this is if we haven't used the 2 and the last substring has the 2, then can return true. Otherwise, if we've used the 2 already, but the last substring is multiple of 3, we can return true. If neither of these are the case, then we would return false. So were we not able to, I guess we weren't able to get away from, is that else, line 48? No, else if. Was I not able to get away from my blocks, my multiple blocks? Got it accepted. Yes, so it worked. That's good. And it is abbreviated because we don't have to update has length 2 been used or anything. We're just checking. So I guess that's a little bit of a win. I think I was, and there's probably a way, maybe there's a way in there with another flag. I'm not sure, but I think we've done a good job for today. I'm happy. We explored an alternative solution. And for those of you who hung on to the bitter end, staying the extra 20 minutes, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in and sticking with. If you want to see more videos that I do, feel free to subscribe and like below, and you'll always catch new ones as they come out. And until next time, see ya.